All right, let's take a look at 6 more problems from 10.1 and possibly 10.2. There's a mixture of exponent problems in 10.1 and 10.2. Looking at this first one here, we see the zero power again, which we should probably be thinking about 1. And since this whole term here is raised to the 0 power, the answer to this is just 1. Okay, remember this is slightly different than the last one we saw in the first video about 10.1 and 10.2. Okay, looking at B here, I have all the same bases here, so I'm going to apply the product rule in the top of the fraction, and that means I'm going to add those together. Okay, so I'm adding the 7 and the 10. All right, and then on the bottom I have x squared, so I'm going to apply the quotient rule where I subtract those. So I'm going to do in my head 17 minus 2 and get 15. Okay, and that's going to be x to the 15th. All right, looking at the next one, there really isn't too much to do with the next one. The main thing I have to focus in on here is that I have this x to the negative 2, and it does say write your answer with only positive exponents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push that to the bottom of the fraction. So I have left on the top of the fraction 3y squared, and then I move the negative exponent to the bottom of the fraction. It comes from the negative exponent rule. Okay. Next up, kind of a little longer problem than C, the multiplication problem. And what I have here is I'm going to multiply this negative 2 times the 5 there for the coefficients here on the terms. So I get negative 10. Then I have some x's here. And remember, this is product, so I'm going to take negative 5, thinking negative 5 plus 2. That's what's on my x's here as exponents. So I get negative 3. And then I have y. Let's see, well that's y to the 0. We could cancel that out or think of that as 1. Or if you thought 0 plus 2 is 2, that's going to work out fine also. So you have y squared. Now if you stop here, it's going to say your answer is not in the simplest form because we see that this has a negative exponent on it. Okay, it's not a negative number that moves to the bottom, it's a negative exponent. So when I write out my answer, I have negative 10y squared over x to the 3rd. Okay, using the negative exponent rule. All right. Next up, we have quotient. So we can just look at these coefficients here and just do our old school division right there. Negative 14 divided by negative 2 is 7. And then we're going to subtract our exponents here because of the quotient rule, and we have 4 minus 3 equals 1. And so if you write this, it's okay, but we generally don't put that 1 on there. We just know that it's there when we write 7x, so that's a little cleaner. And this will probably say not in the simplest form. All right. And then this is the first time that we see the power to a power rule. And I just kind of remember power to a power means multiply. So I have these here that I'm going to multiply together. So I have x to the 4th raised to the 4th, and I get x to the 16th from 4 times 4. So that's the first time we've seen the power rule. All right. We'll look at 6 more in the next video. Thanks.